Happy Wednesday, guys. While everybody's signing on, I just had one of the things I was using and not sure where it went. So, Janine, you can entertain everybody with your comments. Couldn't have gone too far. Let's see. One of the things I wanted to use today, hi Kathy, it's been a while. Let's see, I'm looking for a die that I just used in my card. So while you guys are just hang in there. Got it. Okay, now I got everything together. So I am back. So I just want to thank you guys all for joining me. I'm going to move these off. I have a little show and tell today. So I just want to show you because this past weekend I went to the Bookville flea market, and it's actually the biggest flea market in New York State, and it's near Casanova, south of Syracuse. So we went over Caitlin's, and then we went there on Saturday. So these were some of my finds. I was actually on the hunt. Oh, the buttons. Show the buttons. The buttons are, where are my buttons? I think they might be downstairs, or did I bring them to the store? Oh shoot, let me run downstairs real quick. I'll grab the buttons. Okay, found them. Okay, so I was out on the hunt for textiles and fabrics and laces and trims so that we can start our junk journaling. So I got this beautiful lace trim. Got a bunch of these old trims. Probably if they had the price on them, they probably would say $1. That's not what I paid, but look how beautiful. These are from Germany. This was just a small little swatch. These I think are like tatting, but yep, they are. Like I got like 19 inches, like it's such a lost art. But I love that. And then I got I'm a doily queen. I love doilies. You'll notice that we have them in the store. I have some in my house. Look how beautiful these are. So needless to say, spent a lot of money on what some would consider junk, and some people would actually love these. But it was funny because there were a ton of different things, and something for everyone. It's always kind of fun to look. I'll have to put a picture online because I took a picture of them. The thing that I noticed over and over were the Pyrex dishes. And they were this turquoise pattern. And I'll put it online and see how many people remember them. But these Pyrex dishes and bowls, they were like $250. They were for the sets. And my mom never had that color combination, nor did my grandmother. But I found that rather interesting, that wherever we went, anybody that had Pyrex in that color, the price was astronomical. And Tracy, here's the buttons. Let's see, the jar is probably 10 inches high. And all these you can see the old buttons. And I was like, I have a ton of buttons. I was kind of gravitated towards this one. And there was a heart one that I saw in here. But in a lot of my products, when I start doing the pie-on and using the vintage cards, I like to add these buttons. So we definitely use them. And they're just, like, literally somebody took the time to take these off, like, clothing. So, and fill a jar. I mean, that's kind of crazy. So that was some of my finds from this weekend. And now to products in the store. Today was the release for the Hero Arts. Their new winter catalog. So a lot of the new stuff is now online. I just brought a couple home. They are getting into the hot foiling. And this is a really cool die. It says Happy Holidays. And it comes with the coordinating die. In a lot of their sets now, they are not selling the die separate, and the stamp or whatever, you either get it in the combination set, or that's just about it. This is a really kind of cool hot foil plate. Just these assorted little dots. And we'll be definitely playing with these and making samples. Love this background. And you have to remember, even though it's a 6x6, you can cut it down. I can see this embossed with white just as a tone-on-tone background. I can see definitely coloring it, watercoloring, but just a really nice cling stamp. Several new looking glass dies, and maybe one of these Facebook nights I'll show you how I kind of use these. But there's a new nativity set, and then they have these forest and mountains. And we will be doing a holiday class with some of the new looking glass dies. And another new pumpkin stamp set with some leaves from Hero Arts. So it's just a small little collection, but all the new items, I think Jess has them. They are definitely up online. Hopefully they're under new arrivals, so you can kind of get those quickly. Take a look. It's going to be a busy week because tomorrow is the release of Lawn Fawn. So I brought one of everything home with me, and I have some samples. So probably in the morning, maybe around 10 o'clock, I'll be doing another live showing the Lawn Fawn release. And it will go live as soon as Jess gets up tomorrow. She'll be putting those on so you can order them. So for tonight, I am working with Concord and Ninth. Now, Mona's working Friday and Saturday with me, so we'll probably have a Facebook Live with Mona on Friday, and she can let us know, not what she's doing, but if she's working. I think she is. But I chose flowers because she doesn't do flowers. So the die sets that I'm working with are the Pick Posy dies from Concord. Stampery I probably ordered their papers already, so whenever they come in, they come in. The Nativity die set, yes, it's in the store. And I think they're with the Hero. I put them on the display with the Hero Arts Christmas, so you should be able to find it easily. The other set that I'm working with today is the Friendly Florals die set. And the thing I was running around looking for is this new stitch cover plate, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to show you how to use this. So in the first card, let's pick the Friendly Florals. We'll start with this one. I love this because it has like either, it's really a coneflower die in there, but you can also use it as the Black-Eyed Susans and whatever kind of like decorative little flower. But you get the flower, you get the word friend, you have this oval design, you get your leaves, you get these little bees, you get two little different bee dies, and you get this banner die in this one. And I'm just going to show you how I put the flowers together. So I took my low profile pop dots, and actually I'm going to cut them in half. And on this side I'm just going to make some a little bit thinner. And I wanted to show you, you can leave them just with your decorative, your cardstock, or there's a little bit too much ink on here. You can ink them. And I'm doing one with purple, this, a little darker shade than the paper. And I'm using, once again, I'm using my IO ink pads, which is a hybrid. And I think somebody asked me last time, and they weren't, familiar with the word hybrid and an ink pad. And a hybrid is just like everything else. It's a cross. It's a cross between a dye ink, which is typically fast drying, and a pigment, which I always told everybody it's more paint-like, therefore it dries slower, and it's a little more opaque than a dye ink. So they came up with a combination, the best of both worlds. So it's a little more opaque, but it dries faster than a regular pigment. So on that one I did purple. And we have the little head. Ooh! And that's Concord and 9th, is it, Mona, that you're doing? We've just moved all the Concord and 9th to the front display. So where these dies are and some other dies. They have some really great, they have great bush baskets. So I have this one in purple. And I wanted to show you doing another version in my favorite or vintage photo. Which gives you kind of more of that antique kind of look and that old. So this base one is the underside of the flowers. And then this will be the top. Yeah, just remember this weekend, Friday, we're open till 6, and Saturday until 3 for our summer hours. and it is the stamp convention this weekend. We are not participating probably anymore. It's just so much work, but you might see me there, just roaming around. Okay, so I have my 2 flowers. And on the heads of the flowers, I'm just going to glue these. And you want the one with the lines and the textures on top. And you can see when you line it up, it offsets. And then we'll just put the little coneflower part on top. So you can see the 2 different looks that you'll get just by, oh, I thought that was white. Let me grab a piece of white paper real quick. So this is with a vintage photo, and then this was just one of my IO ink pads, and you can see the difference. Some people like the brown, some people like the purple, and some people just like it plain. But you get different looks with the same design just by adding different inks to it. So let me show you what I did. On this one, I made them kind of like sunflowers. And the paper that I use is another one of my favorite paper. And it is from Simple Stories. And it has those like little tiny little polka dots in it. So I made sure when I die cut everything, I had those little polka dots showing. So I had the leaf paper and I had the flower parts. I didn't do it in the brown. I didn't have any of the brown polka dot at home, but it's fine because there's a little texture in there. And just leaving this that way. So you can see this is not colored and you have these others colored. This is one of the cute little bees that is in that set. We did the leaves in vellum. So for this, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to finish the card off, but what I wanted to show you is that die. Oh my gosh, it's right here. Their new stitch die. I'm not sure where the base is, but what you can do with this is you can run it through. It's the cover plate, so that you get all your stitch lines will be going vertical, and then you can go and flip it to make a plaid and have them go in that direction, or just switch your paper and have them going horizontal. So what I'm going to do is kind of tack this down with a little bit of tape. And I'm going to run it through. And what I'm making sure is that I'm lining my paper up so that my lines are going to be straight. Okay, so give me a second, I'll be right back. So you can see the stitch pattern lines. Now, what I can do is I can flip it and go in the other direction and make a plaid design. Let me run this one more time. So you can see through the back side that we've created a plaid design. So you can get vertical lines, horizontal lines, and plaid lines just with this one plate. So you can see that plaid design. So my thought with this card was to use the plaid. We'll see how it looks. And I was going to kind of line my flowers up in this direction. Oh, I kind of like it. And I was going to put my little bee up in that corner. And my favorite verse company, Penny Black. And this is a really old one, but I don't know if we have it in stock, but we're getting another order together because I love all their verses. This one says, think happy thoughts so you can fly. So I might stamp this on a piece of paper and mat it and put it there. Let's see if we flip it this way. What kind of look we'll get. We can also do it this direction, and I could put something down at that corner. So I'll have to kind of look and decide, but I do like that plaid background. The only thing with that plaid background, you can't stamp on it, so I will have to stamp on a separate piece of paper, and I'll probably mat it in the yellow. But, so there is card number 1. And here is another finished card using the other pieces. That's that oval die that comes in that set. And then I used the friend die. So you have the word friend in white cut out, and then they have the matting I did that in the purple. When I put these flowers together, and I forgot to show you when I glued these, I did add some pop dots underneath here. And when I layered my foam tape, the low profile, to the back, because I don't want it coming out here. I want this to kind of lift up on its own. So where I raised my flower design is like under here in this area, over here, and there. And that's how these popped out. So this is the Friendly Floral die cut set, the cone flower. And then we use I think it's called Stitch something. Sorry I didn't grab it, but the packaging ahead. I'm lucky I found the die. So that's the first card that I wanted to show you. And then I did 2 cards with the Pick Posy dies, which was another flower set that I really liked. And this is the first card that I did. And I just used turquoises and pinks and some different greens. And I used a banner die and stamped a message on there. And then on the background, instead of doing the plaid, I just used the single stitch. I just did one direction, and that's my background. And on this card, it's the same set. On this one, I actually colored, I die cut everything in white, and then I colored. I picked up the colors that were in my pattern paper, and we have very few of these left, but it's a color chart for my Copic markers. And as long as I've been coloring with Copics, I still use my chart all the time. And what the chart is great for is, instead of taking your markers and doing little swatches of all the colors to see what color matches, you can actually take your paper and put it alongside the color so you can see what colors match. And those are the colors that I chose to use. And so in this one, I went with more of a fall theme because I knew that this was going to be pastels. And I just wanted to show how different, one die set can be done. So I did my Copics, and then on all these designs, I went and I used my vintage photo on all the edges. And if I bring it a little bit closer, you can kind of see, especially with the gold flowers, that I went and I inked all the edges. So I love the fact that I could, use one set and, get so many different possibilities out of it. You can, actually do 2 of these flowers over here. You can do 3. I mean, you could change it like I did, the 2 cone flowers on one card and 3 on another, but you can make your own designs. And I wanted to kind of keep it pretty much the same so you can actually see the differences. Yeah, I love the fall card. I was thinking that a lot of people would think those colors are too deep, but I love that color palette. So let me just kind of review what we used. So this is the Concord and Ninth, the Pick Posy die set, and this is the set that I used to create these 2 cards, one in the fall version and one in a pastel version. And the other thing I wanted to show you is, if you could see, I'll move it over here a little bit better. This is the A2 size card, and this is the A6, the next size up. And sometimes when you have a lot of stuff going on and you kind of fit it onto an A2, it doesn't look right. So play with your papers, and you might have to just bump up that card size just a little bit more. So this is 4.5 by 6 when I cut this. And then the other set that I used was the Friendly Florals die. And on the background with this, we used that stitch coverall die from Concord and Ninth, and we made the plaid with it. And so this used the paper from Simple Stories with the little dots on it, and this was just cardstock. And I used a pattern paper for the background on this. And then I showed how, you can use your distress inks the vintage photo I used, or you can use your colored inks to create and add a little more depth, if you could see how that would look on there. So, anybody have any questions? So these cards will be, I'll bring them back into the store on Friday when I go back in. I'll be off tomorrow. On the back table is all the new release from Lawn Fawn, which is available tomorrow. No, I didn't plan on this being a class. This is just a Facebook Live demonstration. It's not that, since I did it on the live, I probably won't have a class on it. But we will be working on our class. We're actually making our samples and stuff. So in the next week, we'll be filling up our schedule for September with a lot of new fun classes. So hopefully you can join us. Any other questions? So we have a Facebook Live tomorrow, probably around 10. I'll do it in the morning, and that way I can focus. My goal for tomorrow is working on wrapping up one of my Makermania projects, which is coming in a couple weeks, September 9th and 10th and 11th. So I really want to work on that, and then we're actually going to go see a movie. I promised Mark I would take the evening off, and we're going to go see Where the Crawdads Sing, which I read the book, but now we're going to see the movie. So that's my plan for tomorrow. So anybody else have any questions? So we do have these dies in the store, and if we do sell out, I will reorder. The other thing, we sold out of the plaid stamp and the stencils that I use, and we have more on order, and I think the plaid stamp is actually coming in tomorrow. So I just want to say thank you all for joining me. I hope you enjoyed what we did tonight. So tomorrow is Lawn Fawn, and Friday is Mona with bushel baskets. So that'll be at 2 o'clock on Friday. And then I'll be back on Saturday morning. We might have another demonstration. We'll see. I'm not sure if Mona has anything lined up. If not, we have some show and tell. So we have a lot of new products. We'll go through the Lawn Fawn again for those of you that didn't catch it tomorrow. And we have new boxes coming in every day. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I'm going to sign off, and thank you for joining me.